question is, let's start about finding that collaborator. How do you find one? And what do you look for when you're trying to find one? And where do you find them? And how do you know it's the right fit? And how do you start that relationship?
Who starts?
Anyone.
Do we raise a hand?
Sure.
To me, I feel like finding a collaborator, and you have like a writing partner. You are part of Carner and Gregory, so I really actually want to hear what you have to say about this, because that's like a dedication, and I haven't done that necessarily and had like, a Gasparini and Phillipson or whatever. There's no Phillipson, I don't know who that is. But when it comes to the collaborators I've worked with, and everything is a collaboration, when it comes to my writing collaborators, they've all come from just like how you make friends in the sandbox. There's like, if you kind of laugh at the same things, kind of share that sentimentality and like the same music and TV shows, chances are you guys are going to click, and it's going to be a pretty fruitful collaboration, one that's painless. Because a lot of the time you're kind of stuck with a collaborator that's assigned to you from producers, and that does not always go well. So when finding a collaborator, you can tell I've had one sip of coffee, when finding a collaborator, I really think it's just important that you don't hear that person laugh at something that you would never have laughed at. I think there really does have to be, it's not about finding, what do they have that I don't? If you're going to find that anyway, you're doing different jobs. You have to be in bed with this person. So who's going to make you laugh? Who's going to be there to respond and reciprocate the way a partner or best friend? That's how I always sought after collaborators, and they're all lifelong friends, so that's how it's worked for me.
I think that's a really important point. Because what you're speaking to has to do with taste and tone more than perhaps style.
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of I think that one of the mistakes people make often is they think about, well, I like this and this person likes this external thing, and therefore we're destined to write together. But if you're actually getting to like, what do you think is funny, what do you find moving, that actually transcends questions of like, I like rockabilly, you like rockabilly.
Right.
And I think that actually ultimately that question of tone, what people find dramatic, what people find moving, putting aside more surfacey concerns is how do you find that?
Yes, I mean happenstance, luck, Tinder.
I also think it's about influences. Like my collaborators that I find are very, very different than writer to writer. As an orchestrator, I work with many writers at the same time. So rather than partnering with one person and hunkering down on a project for a long time, I work with like 8 writers at a time on very different projects. And my job is to articulate what they want in the music, even if they're not always able to articulate it themselves. So something that happens to me a lot as an orchestrator is I'll work with someone who says, I say, is there anything you want me to know about this piece or this song, before I do this first draft of it? No, I want you to just do whatever feels right to you. And then I do. And then they're like, well, I had this idea of this thing in my mind that they didn't know how to articulate it on onset. And so the most successful orchestrator composer collaboration that I had was with my good friend Danielle, who is a writer who our influences, we learned the first time we worked together, were so aligned that we never have to discuss what needs to go into a piece before we do it. I was very influenced by the Disney parks music of the early 2000s. And so was he.
Something like the Electric Light Parade?
Literally, yeah.
Okay.
No, like wishes, fireworks. No, truly. Like it was just, it's like this kind of not classical but very symphonic but still contemporary thing that he wants the work to sound like. And so we realized the first thing we did together was a song from Gratitude to Talk to Soul. He sent it to me, we did not discuss what it was going to be, and then we worked on it. We realized that our early influences were so in sync that we didn't have to have a conversation about it, and that the early influence alignment has been what's made that my most successful collaboration.
Right. Cool.
Oh, I have one anecdote, I guess, which, I mean, as far as how I started working with Derek, we were in a program where we worked with a bunch of other people, and
at NYU,
yeah.
Heard of it?
Right, I mean, it's a kind of round robin type thing. Everyone works with everyone else once. But we were actually here together for a 4-week project. And what was, I think, was a 1-act musical. What was interesting though is that I think if we'd only had a week to work together, we wouldn't be working together today. we started by working on something, and we didn't actually figure out what it was until the second week. And it came from a comment by one of our teachers that we thought we were writing a drama, and he said, "I think you're writing a comedy," and it changed our perspective on everything. And that comment unlocked the kind of game that we play together, which is always kind of undercutting each other, where one person will go a little more earnest, and then the other person will come in and undercut that with something comic. And now would that mean that I think any partnership will probably have have a kind of set of games that they play that have to be ours. But we discovered that formula by giving it a little more time. So I think the message to that to me is give the collaborations you're trying a chance.
Definitely.
And a lot of it is also about, in our case, was really trying to serve each other. Especially, there were certain things that they were listening to musically, and I just said, okay, that's what you're excited about. I'm going to find a place for me in that.
Yeah.
And which is really similar, also I think to Macy, you're talking about with trying to serve your collaborators and going. I think you give collaborations a chance if you go in with the mindset of trying to honor what your collaborators are excited.
Yeah. It just, I don't know.
It's something, I consider it like dating. I feel like it's like dating. And sometimes it happens organically, and sometimes you have to kind of get on a dating app and try to find somebody. I recently found a collaborator through a similar kind of process. I was just putting feelers out there for a very long time. And I would hop on a Zoom with someone and we would talk. And when I finally found the collaborator that I'm now with, now we haven't written anything yet, so we'll see how it goes. I felt like we had a conversation, we got on the phone and we started talking, and the conversation flowed just like a good first date.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is like a good first date. I don't have anything else to compare it to other than the conversation never rolled. We connected, we vibed, we could talk about the work that we were going on, and we came up with things organically in the moment. And that took, I guess, maybe 2 months of me trying to find a collaborator. One fell through, all different things. But yes, to me, it's like dating. And you do kind of have to get in bed with this person. I mean, you're going to spend the next 5 to 8 years with
So
this
the rest of
person.
your life, honest.
Right.
I mean, like, if you find the right one, you kind of hang on to them for dear life. And I think, aside from the dating part of finding the person, if that amazing first conversation gets you guys going, hopefully the next phase of this relationship is challenging each other and pushing each other in a direction that keeps kind of expanding your artistic idea. And it is a lot like, I feel like I have several husbands and wives, like the check-ins, the texts, you're sharing your process with somebody. And that is ultimately such an intimate thing to be sharing, so you have to be super comfortable with it. I think I made it sound really too playful at first with finding someone in the sandbox, but that is because that's how you want to click. You want it to be like, oh, you like this, and I like this, and wow, we're gonna shape something together. But as the relationship starts to become a thing, we're like, wow, this is working. We've created one, but we're creating another, and we're gonna go out to do another one after this together. That is a intimate relationship. You're learning a lot about that person as if they are your significant other, because they're the only ones who have to deal with your process other than you. And that is such a personal and holy thing. You hardly want to share that with anybody. So I just think that that's something else to think about.
I do think boundaries are important. I mean, as I'm hearing, I also think, thank God I don't have to come home to Derek.
Yeah.
Because
yes.
No, I mean, we are on some level best friends, but they're also. I do think it's important to have other influences in your life and not make your collaborator your everything.
Right.
Because it's healthy to be able to step away from the collaboration and have other people to talk to.
Yeah.
And I do see sometimes collaborations fall apart because people get too entrenched emotionally.
Yeah.
So having that distance and that healthy perspective on what the other person is saying and doing. And making sure that, oh, this is a huge thing, making sure that the arguments you have are about the thing you're arguing about.
Yeah.
That is the biggest, I mean, this is a relationship thing too, right? But in a collaboration, making sure it's not, well, you keep doing that
Right.
6/8 time and I'm sick of it, but okay, that has nothing to do with this moment. Does this moment need 6/8 time?
Right.
Like, have the arguments about the thing you're talking about.
Yeah.
And that, because in these long-term collaborative relationships, you can get in the weeds with other stuff that's actually about the relationship
Right.
and not about the